guys to episode 10 of the compound rebuild, which is sponsored by Squarespace. They are the ultimate online platform where you can build your online presence and from there you can take on the world. So this is episode 10, which is always an epic one. In the lockdown trails we made 10 a big one, so there's going to be more than one build laps in this. And also, as it's episode 10, what I'm going to not do is build a handrail. None of these roll-ins have handrails, they need them. But because I'm not riding for another week due to my head injury, I'm not an absolute lunatic, there's no point going up there and building one. So what have we done? In the last video you saw us build this mega spine. Very, very cool. Actually, people named that. You probably haven't looked, Ben, have you?
I have looked.
Have you? There's a good one, I screenshot. It actually had the most likes. 2 people said call it the chunky gal. Have you read those ones?
I like that, yeah.
The lockdown one was called the chunky piece. This is on steroids, this is twice the height, it's so much bigger and more epic. Apparently the chunky gal, G-A-L, so you could just call it chunky, is a mountain in North Carolina, which is in America. So you Americans, you get to have your local mountain up here in England in this very flat, boring part of the world. It's cool, isn't it? We've just taken the tarp off. So Jamie and I have been digging for a couple hours and doing jobs. Ben has been at a PT gym session, which we're all very curious about when there's so much work here to be done, which requires exercise. Jamie and I are Herculean looking, we're great athletes. Ben's booked a gym session elsewhere. He's turned up down to film. So we've been cracking on. That looks good, doesn't it? It's very steep, it's quarter pipe steep. Just stand alongside Ben. What is it, a foot taller than me?
It's probably 2, nearly.
I did call last time it's 8 foot, and we're going to dig that bommel down, which will make it 8 foot tall, which is amazing. So there's the chunky gal, she's chunky. It's going to get blasted. Can you believe this line of jumps? And can you also believe the size of this jump? Come and look at this. I was just looking at it then, thinking that a spine and what I'm about to show you, the next jump, 2 features fit inside the footprint of that ridiculous beast with Everest. That is such a big jump. So yesterday we built this takeoff and Jamie's completely squared up and made the back of Everest look amazing because it was started to grow weeds, it had collapsed a bit from the heavy rain. That looks mega. That's all going to be in the first build laps of this video. There's going to be more than one build laps. We've put, this is interesting. So we need the water to run this way into that gravel, which is also in the build laps. Under there is a whole network of pipes which come together like the London sewer system and divert water under the ground where we are stood. Honestly, it's like being stood in Trafalgar Square with the metro running beneath our feet. It is. There's like plumbing and all sorts of hydro dams underneath here. You guys with this before your time, I promise you there's a very complex aqua system. And then because the airbag collects so much water, we didn't want it to run this way. So Jamie's just quickly built a little ridge line.
Very smart.
Another mountain name, I like that. There you go.
Oh, well done.
I always said we're going to build a hip. You might remember years ago, there was a big feature here called the rainbow, which ran this way. That's my beverage.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You remember the rainbow? You started working with me when I was built this pump track, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're going to have to dig through the archives and find that. So we're going to use the side of this landing again, but build a hip. So here's the clay takeoff, which mirrors that one. About 6.5 foot tall. It needs the bomb hole finishing, but it's lovely, isn't it? Finally, we built something that didn't take hours and hours of stacking because it bolted onto what was already there. And by the way, Jamie has left a poppy in the back of the landing.
Oh,
what a nice guy.
That's lovely, mate. Well done.
Hard work. He preserved the one flower at my compound, which you wouldn't even be able to see. Really, I think people could come in here and not spot it at all. But Jamie's got quite attached to his poppy. Long may it live and prosper and reproduce. So you can imagine how much speed if you land front wheel perfectly at the top of the chunky gal. Double pump there, pump there. This hip, with a slightly angled top and a steeper outside, should be perfect. We haven't decided yet where we're going to put the landing, but we're about to go into a build laps where we will decide it. We're going to use sandbags to build up a wall on the inside. I did originally think the landing would just be this landing, but because where you're stood, Ben, is the airbag, the actual ride outline needs to be over here, which means twisting the ground. I'm just doing so much with my arms. And then we'll discuss this bit in a bit. So first build laps of episode 10 is about to commence. You'll see what we've done and what we're about to do, and there's going to be a mega hip at the end of it. 3, 2, 1, build laps. Look at this, that hip. I mean, it's mega. It doesn't need an explanation. That's like a ground floor extension on a house coming off the base of Everest. You've seen the takeoff. It sits a little bit lower than the spine, than the chunky gal. So there should be loads of speed to boost this. And actually the landing is humongous. I thought we were going to end up just building, like raking the side of that and patting it. We've actually added an entire wall. You saw with the sandbags, we've built a proper retaining wall and then finished it with clay. It's not actually that steep, but the challenge was getting the camber of the landing to start that way for a hip, but then camber the opposite way to take us up there. So it's worth noting actually that in the last couple of days building all this, we have found so many transfers, which I know excites a lot of people. Building a line that leans on another line so you can switch between the lines just gives me so many lines to talk about. The first one, if you can see from here, is humongous. It's the 9-foot airbag kicker, the wooden one. Transfer all the way into the spine, which, let's run and look at it out, it's big.
Whoa, you were quick then, mate.
Yeah, that was fast. It's massive, look, but it's doable and we're going to do it.
Nice.
Ben weirdly called one, so I'm talking about jumping from this kicker into the landing of the spine, the back of it.
Which is disgusting because it's completely blind and you can't see where you'd be going.
But less disgusting than you wanting to, honestly, called an alley-oop 270. So basically he's going to carve up this ramp, but spin left in the air like this, and land on the takeoff pointing that way on a brakeless BMX, which is bone breaking even riding in a car park. Weird guy. Now he stood here like, oh god, I don't even ride anymore, I'm gonna have to do it. The other one is spine takeoff into the airbag. You've got to visualize that there's a 11-foot airbag here. That's gonna be cool. That's like a stepped up transfer with a soft whoopee cushion landing. Everyone's gonna want to do that. Then we've got the hip takeoff, which hasn't been named. New feature, new name. Up into Everest, that's simple. It's like the one we built on the other side, which has collapsed. So you can go airbag kicker, chunky gal, new takeoff, Everest, and then finish up on the mulch. And then the most insane blind one, which I love, but I'm terrified of, is the 10-foot kicker here, all the way into the new hip landing, down where Jamie is. That's blind, because from here, you go up a 10-foot kicker, it's not only longer than the current jump, nor can you see the landing, it's also stepped down. So if you case that, you'll snap everything. Interestingly though, for the last 25 minutes, I've been running this hose into the gravel there. There. Who says there?
There?
Been running it there.
There?
And Rachel there, look.
Oh my god!
We've got a decent flow. It's all about the flow, man. Look at that.
Don't say that ever again.
It's from a movie.
Which movie?
Not one you've watched. I'm loving this. We've got a line of trails. I can't believe it. It's the best. Clay allows you to do these sorts of things. When you wet it, it just looks amazing. I know Jamie's digging now and I'm talking, but Ben and I have actually put a bit of work in, haven't we, Jamie?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at your page. How long ago did we buy this?
2 weeks ago.
And it's already cracked. How long ago did I get my silver line one that hasn't cracked? Probably a year.
This gets used every day though, Matt.
Oh!
Cool, he's only been on the scene 2 weeks. Right, now we're going to do another build laps. So this feature, it's going to be quite simple. We're going to build a nice sort of scrub, boob, pump, scrub feature, which I like the idea of.
Scrub, boob, scrub, pump feature.
Yes. Break it down, you work it out. So we're going to stop with the clay here and go to sand. And actually that's for you, Ben. Ben is brakeless and he's going to be motoring. Mate. And to come off this hip, up a rock hard clay pump where you're going to gain more speed, into that quarter pipe, it's going to be carnage. You need to kill speed. So I think if we build a sand angled scrub boob, you can like do one of those cutties over it in soft-ish sand like that, kill your speed without having to stick a foot in your front wheel.
Sounds marvellous.
Because otherwise you're going to be hitting that quarter pipe at Mach 12 and you'll stove both scapulas into the ground. As hard as this. So another build laps now. We're going to build this sand scrub boob. We all know how to dig sand. It's much easier. So this is going to be a quick, fun, good one. And then we've pretty much got a line to test ride. This isn't the ideal way to build a line of jumps. Well, you haven't ridden a single one of them. We'll have 4 new features, but it's the only way because I'm not riding for another 8 days. So, no, I'm joking. We can't take another one. What a build! I love building so much. jumps, websites, because Squarespace is the ultimate building tool for your online platform. Let's say the three of us wanted to all contribute to the same website. We can, because there's a multiple contributors feature. And let's be honest, not a lot of people are knocking about here, so we could use email campaigns to put it out to the world. There we go. If you want to get started, which I recommend you should, because it is the ultimate platform, there's a link in the description below and a discount code to get started for your free trial and then 10% off your very first purchase. This is the new roller and it's quite nice, isn't it?
Lovely, mate.
Built, not bought. Well, Jamie helped. It's good, isn't it? You understand from my explanation before what it is, but it takes us away from the hip and into the quarter pipe. Now this is where it gets interesting. Ben, that will get soft, and you get what I mean. When it's sand, it's going to get loose like that.
Yeah.
You could definitely scrub over it and kill some speed. You air to the left, don't you?
Yeah.
Which way do you air? Left. That's good for you too. I hate it. So, yeah, we're going to be coming in at that angle. Pull out the new quarter pipe, which is still hasn't been ridden very much. And this is where this trails line gets easier, because we're kind of working with what's here now. All that's been built fresh on that side and that lane. Now coming back, I'm going to return through here in the next video. All of this old rolling's going. That ramp 6-foot kicker was for the hitching post, learning that trick which Ben's playing now, which is the world's first I did last year. We love a world's first. Then I'm going to get a digger back, dig all of this out from where this tree log is, right down into the ground, and then where those wheelbarrows are over there. I think actually for this whole return line we're going to use sand and wood, because the airbag gets used a lot in the winter, and I don't want to have like my end of trails line made of clay so that you can only use it in the summer. I'd like to be able to go airbag, fly out, quarter pipe and back all year round, even when it's wet. Whereas we all know that those clay trails are probably only going to work for 6 months a year, unless the tarpaulins work perfectly. So I want to build a hip. You can't really see. There's a landing. A landing!
A landing!
It's really hot. It's 22 today, which is 2 degrees off of our maximum. Yeah, hip right in there, and then we're going to turn that brick old pump track rolling into like a barbecue hangout area, which will be good. That's the plan. So this next episode, episode 11, a lot will happen. And actually when that rolling's gone, we should get a photo of the trails from up there before. Let's make that this thumbnail.
Good idea, mate.
And the airbag needs cleaning.
Oh, look at it.
It's a shame. Do you remember when that was box fresh?
No, I mean, look at it.
Yeah, the trails. Yeah, come on, have a look. It's changed the whole landscape of my compound, having those 2 big features. They look amazing. Look at there's 3 roll-ins, 2 wooden kickers, creating the bread for a clay trail sandwich, which is the best filling known to man. And then we built a hip and a sandy scrub boob in a day. So I'm excited to ride. I've planned the concussion perfectly. So we're going to return to the most epic compound ever. Like throughout the years I've said the compound's the most epic it's ever been. Struggling with talking, that's less epic. But now with Ben's semi-help and Jamie's absolute help. You've done loads today, you've actually got sunburn.
Thanks, mate.
Standing still so long. No, thanks guys for supporting the series, and we've done 10 episodes of this epic rebuild. Think back to what it was. It was like a grassy slopestyle course that didn't get much riding, and now I'm going to have no choice than to spend my summer here because it's just so good. I love it. So roll on the next one. Cheers guys. Legends.
Oh,